Okay, shall we try? Okay, so good morning, everybody. Thank you for being there. So today we're going to give a presentation about Digigram. So myself, I'm Edouard Wincel. I'm in charge of the sales for the whole of the Nordic country, as well as Germany, France, and Switzerland. And together with me today is Michel, in charge of the product marketing side of the contribution products of Digigram. So we'll be first looking at the first overview of Digigram, where we're standing, where we're coming from, and then we'll have a much bigger focus of the new solution we're bringing on the market now for radio broadcasters, and we're showcasing some of the latest products we have been basically releasing over the past, let's say, 12 months, and especially at this latest NAB, we're coming up with a new commentary box that should raise your interest. So, looking further, Digigram was created in 1885. We're about 636 employees now in 2019. 100 of our products are being produced in France. We do 80% of our turnover abroad. We initially started with sound cards, compressed sound cards for the radio broadcast industry. And then in 2009, we started to do and design IP codec. And we're proud to say that we have been able to deploy more than 10,000 codec over the world over the past since 2009. So we are based in Grenoble. Our headquarters are in Grenoble. We also have a branch office in Singapore, consisting in 4 people. Basically, our product portfolio now consists in sound cards. This is still our traditional business. Audio over IP codec, cloud-based application, and we do also some customized audio products dedicated at non-broadcast activities. Okay, so summarizing our portfolio now, we have the IQOYA product range, starting from 1 stereo to multi-channel stereo programs unit. We have some software-based application as well that actually emulate what we can do on hardware codec, because we see a lot of customers nowadays asking for rack space saving. We want to go for more software-based application installed on physical machine or virtual machine. So we're also able to deploy the capabilities of some hardware codec into some software-based application. We still have some sound cards, obviously, multi-channel sound cards. And since 2016, we go and offer also some cloud-based service for contribution mostly. It can be either installed at the customer facility, or it can be also externalized, and we sell a service based upon the SIP accounts customer needs to use and number of simultaneous communications that customer want to be able to simulate at the same time. Just looking at the workflow of Digigram, it can nowadays be split in 3 different activities. What we call remote broadcast. Okay, so we have commentary mobile units, IQOYA Talk, that I talked about a few seconds ago. Then we have the whole range of hardware codec, crosslink, and servlink. So crosslink is just a brand new generation of IQOYA codec that we have deployed so far, coming with a lot more features in terms of hardware and in terms of software. And we have also a brand new range of contribution application, smartphone-based application, web codec that we'll be describing in second step. Then on the studio side, in order to communicate from outside broadcast operation with the studio, we have the same kind of unit, crosslink and servlink. Obviously, we are not designing proprietary unit in the way that we can communicate with any kind of third-party codec on the field. So we can have like a multi-channel unit sitting in the MCR and having some communication with any kind of third-party device that are available on the marketplace nowadays. We also have the range of sound cards sitting there. We have the IQOYA Cloud, which has been rebranded, which is in a second. And that allows you to supervise the quality of the communication and to enhance and build step-by-step your phone book that correspond to different codecs that are sitting in different arenas or different mobile operations. And that's still the main core business of Digigram, where we have sold the biggest number of codecs. We are doing a lot of transmission operations. So all our codec They can either distribute a signal from a studio to a transmitter. They can do at the same time distribute studio to through satellite and to distribute studio to for web application in the single unit. So we have been doing recently an interesting operation here in Norway, and the interest of the product was to go for a sub-link because we wanted multi-channel, offering different kind of connectivity, whether it be MADI, AS67, AS only, or analog, in a single rack-mounted 1U form factor, and able to address different transport protocol, whether it be satellite transmitter or web operation. So we are among the only manufacturers able to build such a 1U rack-mounted unit at the moment. Very versatile in terms of connectivity. We can also encode one program in multiple audio format. One stereo program can be encoded up to 8 different formats. And all our codec are supporting any algo format and come standard, whether it be MPEG layer 2, MPEG layer 3, AAC, Opus as well. With the exception of EAPTX that we support obviously, but comes as an option. So our portfolio is quite simple nowadays. Again, it's divided in 3 kind of operation: remote broadcast, on-air studio, and program distribution. We have both hardware and software-based solution, and we go more into cloud-based service as well, as will be described in the second step. Sound cards, not going to spend too much time on that because we're not showcasing that today, but that's still a core business of Digigram. Obviously, we still sell a lot of sound cards in the broadcast industry, but we sell also sound cards for non-broadcast activities. So we have partners like Motorola in Germany, for example. They integrate some sound cards from Digigram for public safety announcements, for example. We do a lot of customization as well. We do design some 1U rack-mounted codec device specifically for CAE, which is a flight simulator company, integrating that kind of device into their flight cases, into flight simulator cases. So our activities is also going to industrial world, but obviously the broadcast still remains our main activities nowadays. So the IQOYA is really the brand on its own. So the Crosslink is replacing the initial IQOYA link that we have been deploying throughout of Europe. So it's coming with brand new features like redundant power supply, 4 Ethernet ports, multi-encoding capabilities, multi-streaming protocol transport in the same box. We have 4 kind of products: Crosslink LE, Crosslink Stereo, Crosslink Dual, coming with 2 stereo. All our units, they work under both stereo and mono mode. And we have also Crosslink AS67 unit that allows you to encode from 1 to 8 stereo program through IP simultaneously in such a form factor. And ranging to, so that's, we can have a look there at the different back and front panel of the different Crosslink unit that we have. We're actually showcasing today both the mobile unit together with our partner Sound4 there, who have a demo kit of Crosslink and Crosslink LE. And we'll be later on happy to demonstrate how we can communicate through the cloud from a mobile unit to unit sitting in the MCR, because this is the demo case that we are demonstrating there. Then if we want to be able to move to further connectivity, we have the ability to propose IQOYA ServeLink, which is a multi-channel unit. So IQOYA ServeLink comes in different connectivity, whether it be analog, AES, analog plus AES, MADI, Dante version, AS67 connectivity as well. So those units starts from when you want to handle from 4 stereo channel up to 64 stereo channel in the same box. And I've personally been involved in a lot of projects over the past 12 months with customers requiring multi-channel units because they want to save space in their rack space, in their rack bay basically, and they want to be able to address either web operation, and later on satellite, and also traditional transmission, which is not the case here, I know in Norway, but still the majority in the rest of Europe. But basically we have the choice to have multiple connectivity, And the interesting point as well, if you go for a MADI version or AX67 version, you can start with 8 channels of audio, for example, and you can upgrade very easily through licenses the number of channels you want to be able to handle in the future. So there's no need for retrofitting the unit back to our headquarters for upgrading. We can upgrade through licenses very easily. So that's a Servlink, which is a high-end part of the codec that we are designing. And that is the kind of customers we are selling mostly to. So we can divide this into 3 parts. Historically, we have been selling a lot of sound cards to partners designing radio automation software. Software I'm sure you're familiar with, Netia, Dalet, RCS, etc. So those companies, they used to buy and still buying sound cards from Digigram, integrate into Workstation, and they pilot through their software. So it's still a big part of our business. The other biggest part, obviously, you can see there, TDF, Digita, Media Broadcast, Archiva, are all telco company buying hardware from us, IQOYA mostly, codec. And after that, we actually bundle that with a service that we provide to broadcaster to distribute the signal of the broadcaster from one studio to some transmitters. All of them, they've been using the IQOYA and currently switching and migrating to the Crosslink, the brand new generation of unit. And we also sell those codecs, obviously, to broadcasters throughout Europe for either contribution, for studio-to-studio transmission as well. And we start to also integrate and to introduce our range of contribution solution at the moment. We also sell to Globcast, which does a lot of contribution. So also same thing, they use a lot some of our Servlink multi-channel units. It's been widely used over the past 2 to 3 years for intercom application. They took over some MADI units for us to handle all live commentary or intercom communication services. So really our units, they come with different, they sit in different kind of application, whether it be contribution or distribution services. In terms of product development, the biggest focus at Digigram in 2019 will be to come up with a new range of contribution solution. The kind of activities and customers we'll be targeting will be radios for OB-WAN and remote live operations. And we also see that products as an opportunity for Digigram to break through also in TV broadcast operation, because eventually the IQOYA talk unit that we are showcasing today can be eventually both used in both contexts, TV and radio, for live commentary. Okay, so even the other units, the Servlink, is also really used by broadcasters like beIN Sport in France, which is a famous one, having the rights of the Premier League and the French, let's say, First League. And they use it for big Saturday games, football. So they have Servlink units sitting in the MCR, and they have in different OB-WANs some third-party mobile units, some Digigram codec, and also in the future we'll be testing the IQOYA talk unit. So that's it for, let's say, where Digigram is going now, what's the focus of Digigram in 2019. And now I'll be sharing the presentation with my colleague Michel about the focus on the different contribution solution that we will be showcasing today and introducing in this year. Ok. Je pense pas que ce soit trop nécessaire, mais bon, c'est quand même. Je prendrai le relais sur les crosslinks.
Ouais, ok, ça marche. Okay, so the new offer for remote broadcasting is called One IP Audio Solution. So what is One IP Audio Solution? So it is a versatile solution covering all the remote broadcasting use cases with the objective of simplifying the day-to-day operations of mainly the journalists and the people which are in the MCR. So the offer includes studio and field IP audio codecs, a SIP infrastructure, and some web applications to centralize operation. I will come back on this on these details later. So the objective of this offer is to allow the journalist to connect to the radio very easily. The connection to the radio must be as simple as a phone call. So connecting to the radio is over IP, of course, and the connection must be successful. This means that the journalist must not face the problems of firewalls, of NAT, of things like that. The connection should be successful with this solution, whatever the network topology the journalist is connected to. And the connection with this solution is secured, reliable, and resilient. So here is the workflow. So it's the part of the workflow which is for the remote broadcasting, in fact. So we have different products, which are IQOYA Talk, a commentary codec, a commentary unit. There is also an app codec. So it's an audio codec running on a smartphone with a microphone amplifier, which is called QMIC. There is the crosslink that Edouard already presented, which can be installed in an OB-van, and there is a guest, IQOYA guest, which is a codec for guests, which is a web codec that can be used without any installation on a smartphone or on a PC. This is for VIP, to put VIP or any guest on air without this VIP having to install something on its PC or on his PC or his smartphone. There is here IQOYA Connect, which is both a SIP infrastructure and some web application to help in the operations, and the studio codecs, IQOYA Servlink and IQOYA Crosslink that Edouard already presented. So in details, IQOYA Crosslink has already been presented by Edouard. So it is adapted to legacy audio infrastructure and also to full IP audio infrastructures. By full IP audio infrastructure, I mean AES-67, Ravenna, or Livewire audio infrastructures. So it is based on a powerful hardware, low consumption and fanless powerful hardware designed for 24/7 operations. It features FreeIP, which is the technology of Digigram for resilient and reliable audio transmission over unmanaged IP networks. It includes some levels of redundancy for service continuity. So two power supply units, 4 network ports with stream redundancy, and a mechanism of hot device redundancy. So we can put 2 devices in 1+1 redundancy, seen as only one device, and if one fails, the other is recovering, and the service the service continuity is assured, is guaranteed. And of course, all these devices are compliant with the ABU ASIP recommendation, which means that it is interoperable with third-party codecs and any SIP infrastructure. So this is the range. We already saw that before. IQOYA Servlink. So it's also one new rack for multi-channel IP audio codecs. It can be up to 64 stereo channel, but
and we have we have mentioned about some installation already where we have customers using the Servlink. One interesting case to mention is in Germany, a company called Plaza Media, a quite big player in sports production for TV broadcasters, and sorry, they built a new MCR last year where they installed 3 of those units, MADI units with 32 channels of audio. And in that case, they're using our SIP infrastructure, which is installed in the data center in France. It's not installed at their facility. So it's important to mention that we are compatible with the 2 business models. There's one where the SIP infrastructure is installed at the customer facility directly, which is a case of Danish Radio, for example. And the other customer that we're working with, they are actually renting service from us, and because they don't necessarily have the staff to maintain and support the SIP infrastructure. And in that case of the Plaza Media, they use our service directly, and they have this unit sitting in the MCR and collecting calls from. They can cover up to 10 simultaneous events, whether it be handball games, football games, ice hockey, at the same time through our SIP infrastructure that guarantees simultaneous and continuity of service. And the IQOYA talk that we talk about and showcasing today can be one of the units communicating to the serve-link through a SIP infrastructure.
So in the serve-link, we retrieve the features that are in the cross-links, FreeD IP, multi-level of redundancy, and interoperability with third-party and third-party infrastructure, SIP infrastructure also. This is the detail of the range. And now the field codecs. So the star of the field codecs at Digigram is IQOYA Talk. IQOYA Talk is a portable codec dedicated for live remotes, for radio and TV. So it is designed to be intuitive. There is an intuitive touch user interface, which is as simple as a smartphone. So the goal also is to make the connection to the studio very easy, as I already said, as simple as a phone call. There is a large number of internet connectivity, 2 internet ports, 1 Wi-Fi and 2 3G, 4G connections. It is ready for the 5G. It has record and playback capabilities. So it's important to know that it is a IP codec for live reports, but it can be also used as a recorder without a connection to the studio. There is 2 talkback channels. It features, again, FreeD IP, the technology for resilient and reliable audio transmission over unmanaged IP networks. And it is also compliant with ABU ASIP recommendation.
2 more comments I think important, Michel, to highlight there. When designing these products, obviously we've been looking at whatever was available on the market. We've been interviewing a lot of people from the community. And as opposed to the previous codec that we have been designing, we have been talking a lot to journalists, end user, final end user. Not only technical engineers who pre-select some technology, but also journalists in that kind of technology. They have to say, okay, I'm happy with what is being, with the kind of habitat I have on other units. And eventually, when talking to a lot of people, we came to the point there was 2 major, let's say, aspects to go for when designing this box. As Michel said, is the ease of use of the product. That's why we came up with this touch user interface, which is as simple as a smartphone, so you could come and have a look. And the second, as well, is the remote access of the codec, which is a key point when you have covering some events and you have last-minute troubleshooting events. So we're coming up with some innovative process there to have a remote access from the studio to the codec, so that the journalist has to stick on, preparing his live event and just using the unit as simple as it is.
So this unit comes in 2 versions. One with 3 mic inputs and 4 headphones outputs. So it's for 4 contributors, for example, 2 journalists and 2 guests that share a microphone. And there is a low-cost, cost-effective solution with 2 mic inputs and 2 headphones output for 2 contributors. Now, IQOYA Mobile. IQOYA Mobile is an app which turn a smartphone into an ultra-mobile IP audio codec and a high-performance audio recorder. This application can be, again, both, either an IP codec for live broadcasting, or it can be a recorder. So it is available for Android and iOS smartphones. And of course, it allows to broadcast in high audio quality. And the connection to the studio, again, is very simple with this application. Only 1 click, no configuration is needed. IQOYA Guest. So IQOYA Guest is a web codec for smartphone and PC. It runs in a browser, which means that there is no installation to made to use IQOYA Guest. In fact, the guest can be put on air in 2 clicks. 1 click in an SMS or an email that has been sent to the journalist to connect to the radio, and 1 click on the call button to be connected to the studio and to be put on air. And the guests contribute again in broadcast audio quality. QMIC is a preamp for smartphones, so to be used with either IQOYA Mobile or IQOYA Guest. There is no battery in this QMIC. It's ultra low power consumptions. It is compatible with all the latest smartphones, light and ruggedized, and the gain can be up to 24 dB. Now IQOYA Connect. So IQOYA Connect is both. It is a SIP infrastructure and also some web applications. So the SIP infrastructure enables successful and secure communications. So successful means that, again, this infrastructure cope with NAT and firewall devices. And the journalists don't have to manage this. And the web application allows to centralize contact list and call profile management, allows to centralize the codec configurations, allows to discover all the codec automatically, and it allows to send invitations. It is in invitations that will allow the journalist to connect only with 1 click. And this IQOYA Connect also allows to place and accept calls from a codec, from any codec of the fleet, including the codec in the field. So IQOYA Connect provides also security against hacking and deny of service attacks and works with any codecs compliant with this EBU Tech 3326, which is called ASIP. So how it works? An administrator can reserve a studio codec with IQOYA Connect and send an invitation to the reporter. The reporter in the field will sign in with IQOYA Connect. He has an account on IQOYA Connect. It uses this account to sign in. And then, when it is signed on his IQOYA Talk or IQOYA Mobile, he will receive the invitation. He will accept the invitations. And the codec configuration will be uploaded in the device from IQOYA Connect. And the reporter just have to accept the invitation and click the call button to be on air. Now IQOYA Connect Manage. IQOYA Connect Manage is a web application which is part of IQOYA Connect. It allows to manage the fleet of codec from one unique screen, and it allows, for example, to batch update the firmware of the codecs, to update also the licenses of the codec, and of course it allows to see all the codec, all the details of all the codecs of the fleet. IQOYA Connect Monitor is a monitoring tool to visualize in real time the status of all the codecs of the fleet, the present status, the alarms, and also the quality of the connection between the codecs. And it records all the events during the connections, and it allows to perform later a quality check on past broadcasts. IQOYA Connect Remote is the part that Edouard already speak about. It provides for the journalist the ability to have a remote assistance from someone of the radio, from technicians from the radio. So a technician in the radio can take the control of the codec, which is in the field, and help the journalist to set up, for example, the levels. So finally, this solution, this one IP audio solutions focus on simplicity. So one way to connect to the studio, whatever the device that is used by the journalist. It is secured. We see that the infrastructure is secured against cyber attacks. It is versatile. It can be. It addresses all the use case of the remote contribution, and it is powerful. It performs low latency. We have a mechanism of redundancy, either for the stream or for the devices, and we are able to make high audio quality, of course. So this is a reminder.
So today, today what we're going to be showcasing is we have an IQOYA talk unit that can initiate some calls between some pre-register cross-link codec into our IQOYA Connect SIP infrastructure at Digigram, and so that's cross-link, which are pre-registered basically. So this is the workflow that we are showcasing today. So please feel free to come and see what we can show you, and especially it's interesting to have a look at the quality of the touchscreen interface on the IQOYA talk. We can have access to different menus, the different settings in a very innovative way compared to what has been done so far.
And we also showcase IQOYA Connect Monitor.
Okay. Any questions? Thank you.
Thank you.